Andrea Loves Everybody. I'm your host, Andrea Gazzetta, and I'm joined today by Niles Abston.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
I love Niles a lot. Niles, we start this podcast by telling the guests something that we love about them, and by we, I mean me. I love Niles so much. He's adorable.
Oh, my God.
He is a very funny comic, and he runs the Channel 310 network on YouTube.
That is it.
And I love that you're always kind of cooking up new ideas. You always have something funny to say. You're always working on something new. You work really hard. So I love hanging out with you.
Thank you, Andrea. That's so sweet of you.
We have great conversations too. It's fun shit.
We do.
So do you want to say, I printed it off if you want to read what you pitched to me, because I think it's a really funny pitch.
Probably not going to talk about this as much, but these two hilarious. I saw you were taking like pitches to be on the podcast, and I was like, I guarantee this is something that hasn't been said on her podcast before, which is very good. I've listened to a couple episodes. But like in Black families, there's just a lot of unwritten rules when it comes to like love, spouse, all that kind of stuff. And in Black families, there's definitely a white girlfriend quota. Like you can't. There's only a certain amount of like appropriate white girlfriends that can be acclimated into a Black family. That's just how nobody says that out loud. In fact, I might be the first person to say this out loud, but it's definitely an unwritten rule. You can feel the tension when there's more than two.
Yeah, so this isn't specific to Black families, but one of the boyfriend I had that I was the most serious with was Mexican. Okay. And so when I went to their family for Thanksgiving for the first time, his cousin had also brought his white blonde-haired girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And his aunts kept trying to get pictures of my boyfriend with his cousin's girlfriend because she couldn't tell us apart.
Oh, no. Yeah. Y'all are the same person to them.
Yeah, exactly. It was very funny. And I was like, afterwards, he was like, I think there's just all these pictures of me and Gretchen together.
Oh, no. Gretchen.
And there was. It was just like him. And I was like, we don't even look the same. I was like, I guess we do. I guess we do look the same. To them, you do. To them, we did. That's so hilarious. It was really funny. But yeah, we were like the white girlfriends.
Exactly.
And then we would, everyone would be speaking Spanish. And we'd just be like, we're going to play with the kids.
Right.
Like, I'm not fluent in Spanish.
Oh, man.
It was really funny. But so you're saying that there's a white woman quota. I looked up some statistics, so I was looking up the first time I ever had. I've dated a few Black guys, but nothing really serious. What? It was nothing really serious, but the first Black guy I dated, I remember like going out with him and we were like holding hands, and I'm like, I like you.
Yeah.
And we were walking, and these two Black women started mean mugging us.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, they must be having a bad day. He's like, no, they're mad at you. And I was like, what did I do? And he's like, you're walking with me. They're mad. And I was like, what?
Nah, they mad at him. They not mad at you.
Well, yeah, they're upset. So can you kind of explain?
With that, I mean, well, there's also like this stereotype that like all Black women are mad when they see a white woman with a Black man, which I think is actually wrong. Most Black women I know honestly don't care. Is when a lot of Black dudes, unfortunately, what they do is they'll date outside of the race, and they won't just do that. They also have to down Black women at the same time. And that's where the problem lies. I'd be pissed about that, too. Yeah. Like, okay, I get it. You like white girls. What do you have to say? Why do you have to say bad things about Black girls at the same time?
Right.
So that's where a lot of that stigma comes from. So I wouldn't say they're just mad at the fact that the Black dude's with a white girl is his attitude towards Black women at the same time. Which is almost always negative. They'll say something negative. So,
has that been your experience? Have you had friends?
Oh yeah. Niggas is trash out here, dog. Like I feel like a lot of Black dudes have that period sometimes in your life. Honestly, if a Black dude says he did and he's lying, or he just never was really around white people that much, because in America we have this Eurocentric standard of beauty. It's pushed down our throats in music, on the TV, and movies, everything. So you're taught that white girls are the prettiest. You're taught that white girls are always prettier.
And so it represents a status.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's why they say like, oh, when the Black dude gets rich and he gets famous, he dates a white girl or he marries a white woman or whatever. And a lot of times that is what happens, because it's like, okay, I've gotten to a status where I can do this now. Like, because I know a lot of Black dudes, like in my hometown, like I'm from Mississippi. So it's a lot of, racial things. And so like a lot of black dudes really saw like, ooh, me dating a white girl is a status symbol. Like it was really weird.
Well, so I kind of want to delve into the history of it a little bit, which is like, we're not going all the way back. I mean, there's clearly like a history of slavery, and there's a power dynamic that has to do with race that is what our country was built upon. Yeah. That's pretty difficult to ignore. Like, you can't just pretend that didn't happen.
That's where a lot of problems lie. People try to act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just like you can't... Let's just pretend. No. But so I was looking up some statistics that we can kind of start with, and maybe that's something that we can talk about. In 1967 is when the miscegenation laws were overturned. Okay. So prior to 1967, it was illegal for people to date outside of their race.
Yeah, when you tell people not to do something, they do it. It's like kids and drugs,
Exactly. But more specifically, it was illegal for white people to date outside of their race. Right. Because what was okay is like if you were black and you wanted to date someone Native American, or if you want to date someone Chinese, that was culturally maybe frowned upon in specific cultures, but it wasn't illegal. What it was really illegal is dating
white people
outside of whiteness, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of... Again, has to do with these like weird Nazi ideas of like racial purity and all this like kind of bullshit.
Keep the bloodline pure,
Yeah, some really faulty genetic science.
Yeah, you keep the seasoning out, then it stays bland. So it's just...
It's very boring.
You said it, not me. She said that.
Look, I've seen my ancestry, and it is just pasty white shape after pasty white shape, and...
Hey, white people did some cool stuff. Y'all built the airplanes. What else did y'all do? That's about it. Okay. White people created basketball. We appreciate that. We took it, but it's cool. Like we appreciate it though.
So when those laws were overturned in 1967, 3% of newlywed marriages were interracial. That was 3%. As of 2010, 15% of newlyweds were interracial couples. Okay. But to me, I was like, that still seems like a really low number.
Yeah, it's a low number.
That might also be because we live in Los Angeles, and I feel like living in a big city, I see so many interracial couples.
All I see is interracial couples out here. In fact, I think 14 of that 15% is out here. Like
it's like it's here in New York. We have just like a lot of interracial couples, and then in the middle of the country, maybe not so much.
Yeah, like it's gotten to the point where like if I see a black dude holding hands with a black girl in LA, like I want to like give him a fist bump or a chest bump or something, because it's like finding like treasure. Like it's a very rare thing out here to me. Unless you're in a certain area where like blacks really populate that area, I only see interracial couples.
Do you think that there are... So I was reading a lot about this. I don't know a ton about it. A lot of my personal relationships have been interracial, but not necessarily with black people. Okay. So like my first boyfriend was Indian. Aww. He was very cute. I liked him a lot. But so with each kind of like, anytime you're dating someone of a different race, there's also these kind of like cultural things that you have to learn.
Yeah.
So have you dated white girl friends?
I have.
Is that why you're so salty about this white woman quota being met?
No. No, I wouldn't say salty, because here's the thing, like, so the white female quota has been matched in my family. I'll just put it that way. I won't throw no names out there. Tim, oops, my bad. But like I won't throw any names out there. I did, but the white woman quota has been matched in my family. And am I salty about that? No, but I don't like knowing I can't marry a white woman. Like if I wanted to, I'd like that possibility to be there.
You're saying can't though.
Nah, you can't break the quota. You just can't do that.
But what if you fell in love with someone? Could you date someone who's not white but also not black?
I don't know. I actually was thinking about that today. I don't know because
what are the rules?
I don't know because my eyes have been opened a lot over the last couple of years, just with things that have happened in our country and just I honestly don't know with like the way the world is right now if I could marry someone that's not black. I don't know.
What do you mean? Like because you would feel pressure from other people?
No, not pressure from other people. It's just it's like almost a safety precaution in a way.
Do you feel like a partner who isn't... Oh, sorry. Do you feel like having a partner that isn't black wouldn't understand what it's like to be you in the world?
Yes. And that scares me a lot because there's just certain conversations I need to have to keep me sane throughout the week. There's certain things I need to get off my chest, and those things those things I don't think will be received the way I want to from somebody that's not black.
I think I'm going to say a lot of different things that because I'm white. Mm-hmm. Anyone who doesn't know the podcast, I'm a white person.
No.
Hey guys, how's it going? Is this the voice of a white lady?
That sounds like a Middle Eastern accent.
Oh. So I've been a few things. So when I had my first boyfriend, I remember we were dating in Iowa, which is sea of white people. Like
that it is. I have a friend from Iowa. Shout out to Bailey.
Yeah.
It's a very white area.
There were not that many people that weren't white at my college.
Yeah.
It was a very small percentage. And I didn't really understand racism because I'd never experienced it.
Exactly.
It's such a foreign concept to a white person what racism is. It feels like it's not real.
Exactly.
It's the same way that when women try to explain sexism to men, they're just like, no, that's not a thing. You're like, no, this happens to us all the time. You're like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I remember we were holding hands and we were walking and we were just like my boyfriend at the time, he was my best friend. Like I loved him so much. And we would just like hang out and we'd like goof around all the time.
Yeah.
And we're like holding hands. We're like having this like really beautiful moment. And like, I felt at that moment so much love for him. And at that same time, there's this man on our campus and he had like the shaved head and he had the wife beater and he was a white man. And he didn't say anything, but he looked at us with so much hatred.
Yeah, I've got that before.
It felt like someone stabbed. Like it was so hateful.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he experiences this all the time. This is not, and I realized that when you're a white person and you love someone that isn't white, when you walk away from that person, you don't experience any racism.
Right.
But when you're with that person, you're taking on a burden that is not your birthright, but is something extra that you have to carry and be aware of in the world because you're choosing to love someone and you're choosing to take their fight with
Right. And it's a tough thing. And like, question, like, how did that make, because I've dated white girls in the past and I could tell when certain things like that would happen, it would make them feel really uncomfortable and they really couldn't like deal with that. How did that like make you feel knowing like this is something I'm just going to have to deal with if I want to be with this person?
Oh, I was like, I will fight this man.
Really?
Yeah. No, like I am not a violent person, but I do have protective instincts for people that I love.
Aww.
And
she does love everybody.
My first instinct, and this has happened with other boyfriends. I date small men. I date tiny dudes.
That's hilarious.
But my first instinct is like to get between this person and the person that I love.
That is awesome. I've not heard that.
I can and would probably die. But my instinct, I don't know if this is like my blood, it's the way my mother is too. Like my mother in her blood is just like very loving person, but in her heart, she will fight someone.
Very protective. That's awesome.
Yeah, just very protective. So I was just like, but it also like made me realize that there are times in the world when I'm not with this person that they're open to danger.
Yeah.
And it made me afraid for him in a way that I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's how black moms feel.
Yeah, it's a horrible, it's a horrible thing to realize.
Yeah.
And like that like level of empathy, I think has made it difficult for me to, you can't just unfeel that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's made it difficult for me to, when I get in arguments with white people that may not have like loved someone that isn't white, I get really upset because I'm like, I was like, you don't understand.
That's why I still feel like
I don't understand.
Experience is everything, and I'm really thankful to be a comedian because, like, I have friends who are trans, I have friends who are gay, I have friends who are all these different things. So when I go home and I hear things like these people are like that, I'm like, no,
I've met these people.
So and so just had lunch with me, and that's not what they do at all. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, where I'm from, really, there's no, like, Mississippi's still segregated in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like completely. If you never want to see a black person or never want to see a white person, you can do that. Like that's how segregated Mississippi still is. And so that's why like a lot of black people where I'm from see dating white people as like a status symbol, because it's like, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember
they're the forbidden fruit.
Right, forbidden fruit. It's a forbidden fruit thing. Like I remember being in high school. I had a couple white girlfriends in high school, and I remember being in high school. We were eating in like this little Chinese restaurant. It was me, her, and two of her friends. And I had my arm around her in the restaurant. I was the only black person in the restaurant. And like all these people were just like looking at me. And then I noticed like, oh, shit. And then I could tell it made her like feel like really, really uncomfortable. We broke up within like a couple months. Like it was like I could tell like it just.
Oh, the social pressure was too much.
Yeah. And I couldn't really even be mad. Like I got it. Like that's a lot to deal with at 16, 17 years old in the most racist state in the country.
Yeah. I think when you grow up with that, with those boundaries being so clear, it's difficult.
Yeah, because you're just being a kid. Like I like this person because they go to my school. I'm not thinking about their skin color or where they're from. I just really like hanging out with them, and they're really cool, you know?
Which is what love should be.
Exactly.
It should just be like this. I like this person.
Exactly.
But we've kind of built in all these weird things about race and about and
defense mechanisms in a way.
What I think is weird about it to me is there's this idea that like this person comes from a different culture and like, our cultures are too different. Like our families are too different.
Yeah.
But I feel like any family, even within white families, there are cultural differences.
Right.
Like there are things that like my family does and just accepts as normal. And maybe this family does things a totally different way.
And there's a different culture in each state in this country. That's what's so interesting about it. So it's just like even somebody of the same race won't even do things the same.
Right. And so there's always a learning curve when people come together. And there's always, you have to, you know, be empathetic. You have to learn about the other person. You have to kind of accept how that person has become who they are.
Right.
And so I don't feel like race should be something that is a barrier, an extra, but it is so much.
It is though.
So
I wish it wasn't.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
so bad.
That's just what the world. I mean, that's just what the world is. You know. I guess if that's the price I have to pay to live in America, then I'd rather be black here than probably anywhere else. So.
Well, so I'm also reading this book called On Beauty by Zadie Smith.
Zadie Smith, I know that name.
She's a really great writer. And the basic plot point of the story is a black woman marries a white man who's this college professor. They have 3 kids together, and they're in a feud with this other family who is a black conservative Republican family who's religious.
They grind my gears, man.
So the whole thing is like kind of like these people, but it deals a lot with blackness and being in a white space. They're in this like college town. Everyone else is white. And then there's these 2, the only other black people they know are people that they don't like.
Right.
And so people are always trying to throw them together in these different ways.
Of course.
And like
they're so different.
It's such a deeply beautiful and poet. Brian Simpson gave it to me and he's like, we're going to be reading buddies. And I was like, okay. And I started reading it and I was like, this is the best.
I'm going to have to check that out. I'll get the cliff notes. I don't really read books and shit, but
it's so like I'm hooked and I get bored with books. Like I almost be like, I get it. I'm almost done with it. But there's like a weird moment in there where one of the sons are like 22. They're of college age. The youngest one is 16. And the youngest one is like trying to like figure out what blackness is. Okay. So because he grew up in this like white neighborhood. So he's like dressing like a rapper and he's doing like, you know, he loves his rap music and he's kind of like doing this kind of imitation because he's not around other people that are like that necessarily.
Yeah.
And so he's like walking through his neighborhood and people are like mean mugging him and he's trying to explain to his white father what his experience is. And his father just like doesn't want to deal with it.
And that's one thing that really frustrates me when I see certain interracial couples where the white person in the couple, there's just things they either don't want to deal with or don't want to address and just act like it's nothing.
Right.
And the black person's just like, all right, well, if that's what I have to do to be with you, then cool. Like I've seen that so many times and I've done it in my own life. And I'm to the point now, there's just like, there's nothing I can just not address. So like that would be something that would have to be worked out from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that, like I've seen that a lot of times. Like my sister goes to a private school and I've seen where like a white family will have black kids and something will happen and they just try to act like, oh, well, that's just normal and that happens. No, that only happens to black people. Like, stop.
Yeah, it's a willingness or a blindness on the part of white people to see that someone, even someone that they care about, is being treated differently because of their race.
Right.
And I think it's because when white people see other white people being racist, they feel that there's an implicitness, like they're a part of it. So that if they admit that other white people are being racist, then they have to admit that racism is a cultural thing and that they sometimes are also racist.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. It's just like, as a man, there's sometimes I'm sexist, but I have to like tackle that on my own right and see, okay, what you just did was wrong. They made a woman feel uncomfortable. They may have offended her. All right, now how are you going to move on from that? How are you going to fix that?
But if you're with women that if you love women and you care about women, you'll do that, and they'll put you in your place.
Exactly, and that's what I want. Like if I do something sexist, I want one of my female friends to tell me because I don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's a learning experience that comes with like loving people that are different.
Exactly. And what was I going to say? I forgot. No, I was going to say, because it's kind of selfish in a way, because it's just like, you can't make yourself a part of a person of color's world and then not want to deal with comes with being in that world.
Well, that's the most privileged thing you can
do.
Is to say like, oh, I'll be a part of your world when it's convenient for me or when it's easy.
Right.
But I don't want to have to deal with all the shit that you have to deal with.
Exactly.
But the truth is, if you love someone, their life and the things that happen to them should be just as important to you as your own life.
Exactly.
So you have to reconcile that.
Right.
And I think personally, I feel like more people loving each other that come from different places and different races, different whatever, is the only way to kind of like
I agree.
Get rid of that stuff. But it means having conversations that are uncomfortable.
Exactly. That are uncomfortable, difficult. That are tough, that make you feel like, oh, I need to apologize to that person, or oh, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So, and nobody wants to have those conversations though. Everybody wants to act like nothing's wrong and everything's okay.
But it's not. It's like the whole house is on fire. You're like, no, this is fine. I'm totally fine.
That's exactly what we do.
So, have you ever been in love, do you think?
Yes, a couple times.
A couple times?
Yeah, I have.
Were you dating someone that was of the same race as you?
One time yes, and another time no.
Okay. How long ago was that? And how long was that? Because you're young. I'm
very young. I'm a baby.
Baby boy.
I'm a baby boy. That's why I didn't like you calling me adorable at the top of the podcast, boys. Whatever. I get called adorable all the time. I hate it. But it's the cross I have to bear.
I feel like men don't like being called adorable.
I don't.
But
nobody wants to fuck adorable. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's not true. Every boyfriend I've ever had is pocket sized, and it's
pocket sized. That's really hilarious.
I've dated a few guys over. Most of my boyfriends have been 5'8" or shorter.
That's hilarious.
So. Short.
Or shorter.
Right, I'm 5'8". Shit.
I'm 5'6". So I feel like that's still tall to me. Anyways, it's adorable. But so you've been in love. You experienced love. So you're saying, kind of going back to our original premise, this idea that you can only have 2 white girlfriends in a family at a time.
Yeah, that's just the rules, dog. Like this.
What are the other? You're saying that there are these unwritten rules.
There's unwritten rules in every culture.
What are these?
But the thing is, when you're not a part of that culture, you don't really know the unwritten rules. So when you break them, it's just like, oh shit, what did I do?
So you're saying that every black family has these unwritten rules for dating. What other unwritten rules do you have?
Unwritten rules. Most black families, like if you're not married, you can't like if you're an adult and you're not married to the person, y'all can't like spend the night at your parents' house. Most black families, like traditional, do that, like Christian.
That's like a Christian.
That's the thing. Like all black people believe in God in some sort of fashion. Like even black atheists believe in God. They just don't want to. They just rebelling against their parents. Like black atheists are lying to you. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. That seems like a really broad thing.
Hot take
for everyone.
I'm speaking for everybody right now. Call me Obama. Like I'm speaking for everybody.
So. You can't sleep in the same bed?
No.
Only a couple white women?
Yeah. What else? Oh, they get called your little friend until you actually get engaged. That's what black women are. Yeah, your little friend. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, most black families do not take your significant other serious until probably after 4 or 5 years, or if you're like engaged, like they're not taking it serious at all. In fact, everybody's talking about you and laughing at you like 20 feet away from you about your relationship. That's how it is.
That sounds like a really difficult thing.
Oh, it's hard, man.
So have you ever like brought
another unwritten rule?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
If one of your uncles doesn't like give you a high five, you'd be like, "Oh, is that you?" Then she's not that cute.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so if you bring a girl around and one of your uncles doesn't try to hit on her or doesn't like brag to you about her, she ain't cute. That's how you know. Just go ahead and get rid of her then.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's really funny.
I can't wait to be the black uncle that like hits on my nephews like girlfriends and shit. It's gonna be fun. Why are you giving me that look right now?
That's just like such a horrible life goal. It's like, look, I'm not shooting for dad. I want to be the creepy uncle.
I just want to be the cool, creepy uncle. You know what I mean? That's all.
Isn't your sister younger than you?
Yeah. I'm waiting on her to have kids one day.
God damn.
All my other cousins, they need to have kids. I'm trying to be that guy.
So I've been reading. I read a lot for this because I was like, I want to know more about things I don't understand.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were going to do all that. I feel terrible.
I like to do research.
Well, I'm black. That's research in itself, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. So I have to do research because you've lived an experience I don't understand.
True.
So I was reading a lot, and I just basically typed and goes like, black men dating white women. And so there's all these ideas. I also found a lot of other things about interracial couples about this idea that like white women are somehow more submissive or like won't call men on their shit as much and they'll kind of like put up with things or whatever. Okay. And so I was like, that's a shitty stereotype. Yeah.
I get it though.
Yeah. So there's all these kind of like stereotypes and there's a lot of controversy. And something I was reading a lot about is there are a lot of opinions from other people about interracial relationships. Right. Which is one of the shitty parts of being in an interracial relationship is everyone has an opinion. Like, oh, go look at you getting that. And it's like, well, why don't you love people that are the same as you? Or why don't you do this? Or like, if you're dating someone who's different than you, you're a traitor. Like,
I hate that.
There's so much negativity. It happens
a lot, but I hate it.
Well, I mean, yeah. So like when you were in an interracial relationship, how did you deal with that negativity?
I didn't really get the crazy thing is I did not get a lot of negativity from like black people though. Okay. I got a lot of negativity from like white people that I knew. Okay. And
from white people that you knew? Like people that were your friends?
Yeah, people that were friends and just acquaintances. Like it was weird that they started treating me a little differently after I started dating a white girl. And it kind of made things more real to me because there's this movie Denzel Washington's in, I always refer to. I can't remember what it was, but I remember like this Indian guy was trying to tell him how like Indian people and black people are like, you know, we're like the same. We're going through the same struggle out here. And then he starts dating this Indian girl in the movie, and the guy treats him a lot differently and hates him. And it's just like he's just like we're all the same until, you know, I'm a part of your culture now and those kind of things. And so like I realized you loved me when I wasn't dating a white girl or I wasn't in your world. You loved me when I could, you know, you could have that certain kind of wall or these kind of things. This is when I like Niles when he's doing black stuff.
Well, I think that there is this weird thing that happens with white people where they see black friends as like a status symbol. Yeah. Or like a signifier of wokeness or a signifier.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
Dab.
Yeah.
Skirt, skirt.
Well, they kind of want to be a part of this thing that seems outsider or other.
Black people do it to white people too.
Like,
I'm fancy, you know. I can get in this place. I can do this. Yeah. I'm with my white friend.
But then
I won't get killed by the cops. This is great.
We both have different goals. Right. White people want to look cool.
Right. I did this podcast. I know I'd be safe for an hour. So I'm playing.
That's actually the only reason Niles and I hang out.
Safety. Get you a white female bodyguard.
But so like there's like this weird thing of like wanting that show, but then when it becomes real,
real,
then it's like you have to kind of like pony up with the idea that you aren't really treating this person as your equal or as like a genuine friend.
Yeah.
And that's shitty.
Yeah, like that's
so shitty.
And that's when I know like certain white people are really my friends. I remember a situation happened in high school where me and some friends were taking like dual credit classes at a community college my senior year, not too far from our high school. And some cops were really giving me a hard time and asking me all these questions and things like that. And I had a couple white friends with me that weren't going to let them just treat me like shit. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't going to let anything happen to me. And like, I know a lot of people that would have just been like, all right, backed away. This isn't my problem. Like, you know, and so that's when people use their privilege as a way of just like allyship, that's when you actually see like who cares about you for you and not just, oh, he's cool. He plays the cool music when he's in my car, you know? So,
yeah. I think that people that aren't white deal every day with a burden that white people don't understand.
Yeah.
And again, it's an inconvenience to white people to have to do that. And so I think that sometimes people aren't prepared for what you go through every day.
Of course not.
To be a part of their lives.
Yeah, and that's not really their fault. It's just like, you can take that in any sense. Like, I don't just go out of my way to do things inconvenient. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was telling somebody the other day. Like, racism ain't ever going away. Like, that would be really inconvenient for a large group of people if racism and privilege was just done away with. So it's just,
do you think it'll be around for forever?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Why would it change?
You don't think that eventually people
eventually
could
what?
be better people?
What's gonna happen?
You don't think that eventually, like, people by...
You think sexism is going to stop?
I do. I think it could.
You're crazy.
I just don't feel comfortable a man calling a woman crazy on her own podcast.
I'm sorry. I'll just put it this way. I know a lot of men. That shit ain't ever changing. That's all I'm saying.
That's something... Can we talk
It's inconvenient for men.
It is inconvenient.
And it's stupid. And it's stupid. But we live in such a patriarchal society. If you look at everything, every construct, every law, whatever, created by man. Everything. This whole society, created by men. Women are existing in a male country.
We do.
And
it's shitty.
It's not fair. Like, straight up, like, I hate saying things aren't fair. No. It just straight up isn't fair. But it's like, yeah, it's not changing because it'd be inconvenient for men to just be like, oh, okay, so we're just going to let y'all be equals now. Because here's the thing. You guys have had to accomplish things and fight through basically a ceiling your whole entire life. If you ever got equal footing as men, you'd kill us in everything because you've always had handicaps. It wouldn't. So and men know that. It
is kind of starting to happen in the job force and in school.
A little bit, little by little.
Women are getting, because we've had all these handicaps, because, let me put it this way. I was one of 2 girls on my Quiz Bowl team, which is a group for nerds where you
it's like on Mean Girls. The limit does not exist, like that when she pushes the button and does the thing. Okay.
I did that. It was like you take tests for fun on the weekend. But there are so many times when I would be hanging out with these dudes that were supposedly smart and they treat me
like you're stupid.
Like I'm stupid because I'm a girl, and they made me doubt myself. You know, like they'd say, I'd be like, this, you know, I would use a word and they'd be like, that's not how you use that word.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. And then I go look it up and I'd be fucking right. And that happened so many times that I got to a point where I was just like, no. And now people are like, why are you so bossy? Like at work, I'm just like, this is how we need to do this. This is the way this needs to be.
Right.
I'm 29 years old and I know that I'm fucking right because I'm smart and I've been right hundreds of times when men have told me I'm wrong.
Exactly.
And I feel like it's a little aggressive for some people. It's a lot for people to put up with. But it's something where, like, once a woman gains a sense of self-confidence, we are unstoppable.
Yeah, and then men are intimidated. Like, it's stupid. And I hate it because, you know.
But the thing is like, we're always fighting.
Exactly.
Like, we're fighting to even be heard.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that's how you feel all the time as a black person.
All the time. That's why like that's why like things like comedy and arts and all those kind of things that use self-expression, dance, all those things, black people are really good at it because we can't just express ourselves like a normal person. We don't
people don't listen.
Exactly. People don't listen. So okay, I'm gonna put it in this rap song that's gonna go platinum. I'll put it in this comedy bit that'll turn into a special. I'll write a movie, and they're great pieces of art. But it's like Martin Luther, like that's why Martin Luther King is heralded as this amazing person, because he was like the only black dude people ever actually listened to. When there was plenty of black people during civil rights that were saying the same thing, but I don't know, something about Martin Luther King that people listen to that nigga. So it's just like, yeah, like so we make movies, we make comedy, we do art, we write things, we rap, we do all these things
because you have something to say.
Exactly, and so it's just and a lot of that's why culture, art, Renaissance, all those kind of things come out of places where there's a lot of pain, it's a lot of hurt, it's a lot of poverty, all those kind of things where people just want to express themselves. That's why the best rapper, if you look at like all the best rappers coming out of it's like certain cities, like. The best rappers aren't coming out of LA anymore. It's a different black experience out here in LA. The best rappers are coming from the South, where like all these crazy things are happening. Best rappers are coming from Chicago, where the violence is horrible and the schools are being underfunded, is because they have things to say that people aren't listening to on a normal standpoint. Whereas a white person, like black people just can't, hey, we're black, we're gonna call a conference call and we want white people to listen to everything that we have to say. You know what I'm saying? That's why
they
like
have to create art and get a multi-million-dollar platform just for be like, hey, I guess this is like a problem
and
or
then
whatever.
And then it turns into Time magazine covers, white kids jumping up and down at Coachella, and then they don't do any more woke shit. They just turn a commercial. So yeah.
You sound so cynical. It makes me so sad.
It's the truth. It's the truth. I mean, it's the truth. I'm not even mad at them. Like, if you black, make your money. Like I used to be this whole like, oh, don't be a sellout. Oh, nigga, I'm ready to sell out. Like, pay me. I won't ever say the word black again. Shit.
Shameless plug for Channel 310.
Channel 310 on YouTube. No, I'm playing. I won't do that. I'm playing. No, there's a lot of black artists I don't think that, sell out. I'm playing. But it's just one of those things. Like it's self-expression I think is everything to people of color in a way. That's why, we're so protective of our art. We're so ready to express. We're so ready to write those things, all that kind of stuff.
So I kind of want to come back to dating a little bit and love.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could ever be in a fulfilling relationship with someone that is not of your race?
Yes. No doubt about it. There's no doubt in my mind I could.
Okay.
No
Do you
doubt
think
in my
that
mind.
person could be accepted by your family?
Oh, yeah.
fully?
Of course. My family is really interesting. Every person I've dated, they've told me that they felt super like accepted by my family. They felt like they were like my family, like an extra set of friends in a way.
Your family was at the first show that I met you on?
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. They were there.
Like your whole family was there.
We had like 17 people.
You brought almost the entire audience to this Ice House show that we did together.
They love comedy, So
and it was
fun.
it was the first time I'd ever worked at the Ice House. It was the first time I've ever seen you do stand up.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'd never met you before.
I think that was one of our first times like talking. I'd seen you at a couple mics, but I don't think I ever talked to you before.
So your whole family was there, and they were so sweet, and like clearly, like you have a good relationship with your family, and you love them, and you care about them.
Right.
So it's like, that's the thing about when you have a family that you love and you care about. When you date someone, you're not just dating them. Like that person is becoming a part of this other group of people that you already love.
That's one thing. And I've definitely looked at that before, is like dating people like with this person, like acclimate well
with
like,
your family.
Yeah. I think of things like that.
Yeah.
Cause I think anybody would, but it's just like, you do want that, like, and that do want that cool fit. Cause it's like, that's why a lot of times relationships haven't been, I guess, been successful with me because of the other person's family, because of how they perceive me, or because of how they do things. And I can just kind of like, when I feel like I'm not really like accepted, that's when I start to kind of shut off, because it's just like, so I'm gonna have to deal with that forever. No, I'm good. Like that's because I don't think that's fair. Like my family's not gonna do that to you.
Yeah.
And so like that's what probably scared me from dating across like different cultural lines, because I've dealt with so much racism from not the person I was dating, but their family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That sucks so hard.
Yeah.
And it's something the first boyfriend that I had never told. We dated for 2 years. He never told his family I was his girlfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that kind of
was
messed
he the guy
me
that
up.
was Indian?
He was Indian, yeah. And I talked about it with the facial recognition girls.
Yeah, I listened to that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, so, and part of that is just like, there was like a stigma about him dating a white woman. They're like, no, you're going to marry an Indian woman that will choose for you, and you're going to, you know, whatever. And so, like, again, that's part of their acceptance and their thing. And it wasn't anything I could change or really do about it.
Right.
But it did, I loved his family. Like, I loved hanging out with them, but we were never officially dating. Yeah. To them. So it does kind of mess you up because you do feel like an outsider, and you do feel like, oh, this is weird. Yeah, this isn't for me. Like, this person is telling me that I'm not. Yeah,
that is. And I dealt with that a lot in high school.
Just like, oh, this is my friend.
Yeah, or just not telling them about me at all.
That hurts so bad.
It crushed my little 14, 15-year-old heart.
Oh, baby boy.
It was so bad. And it kept happening. It happened a lot to me in high school. It was bad. Yeah. It's just one of those rough things. It's just kind of like, I'm dope. What do you mean? What do you mean your parents don't like me because I'm brown and they've never met me though?
But I'm adorable.
Yeah, and it's this whole thing. Like, I remember this one girl, like, her dad would come watch football all the time. Like, he'd watch me score touchdowns. It was perfectly cool with that. But holding hands with his daughter, that's going too far. Like, that is where it ends. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's this weird thing of just like, no, I'm not racist. I watch football every Saturday. Okay, let a black dude date your daughter and see how that. Let's go back to that statement. And then it's a lot. The attitude, the behavior is a lot different. So that was one thing at like 14, 15 years old. I had to see like so many people that, oh, we love Niles. Yeah, when he's running track or playing football or scoring baskets on a court and stuff like that. That's when you love Niles. But all right, let's say Niles wants to take a white girl to prom. Now, how do you feel about Niles? And so, like, that was really tough for me as a teenager to see people, quote unquote, loved me switch up when I was in, like, in an interracial relationship.
And that's so much to deal with as a kid.
Yeah, I was a kid. Like
you're a child.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you're kind of like trying to find your place in the world, and people are telling you as a kid, like, you're not enough.
Yeah, I dealt with a lot of depression and self-hate in high school because of that. Yeah. But and it took a long time, really until like a couple of years ago, for me to realize that, like, that's not because of me. That's their problem, you know? Yeah. Racism is their problem. How they see me, elitism is their problem. All those kind of things. Like, I'm me regardless, and I need to love me. And it took me a long time to get to that point, though.
Well, I think that's something that really bothers me, and I've had discussions with people about it, is this idea of like, well, I'm not racist. Like, I love people that are different than me. They're people, you know, like, oh, I love Karen or so-and-so or whoever. That's not a black person's name.
No, it's not. That is definitely a white woman's name. That's up there with Susan. Gretchen, was that what you said the other girl's name was? Gretchen?
Yeah. God damn it. But it's like, oh, I love her. We have so much fun in the office together. Yeah. But then it's like, you have to really examine. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I think they're great. I think they're this. But it's the bottom line of like, you still think that they're not enough. Yeah. And that is like such a shitty thing, and people don't want to admit that they feel that way about other people.
And I feel like if you admit you feel that way, then we can work to fixing that, you know? Because I think most people of color are really at the point where it's like, we're not angry at white people or anything like that. It's just like, we just want you to see us for us, and then, all right, let's progress and let's change this. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want.
Well, it's so much of it is just ignorance, and so much of it is just like when I grew up, like, I talked about this with Greg Roque on the first one of the early episodes.
He's dope. I love Greg.
He's so fucking funny. But like, when I grew up, like, I remember the first time I met someone black. Like, that's a part of my memory because it had. I was old enough.
Do I remember the first time I met somebody white? No.
I was talking to Jonathan Tumblin, and who's another LA comic. He's very funny, and he was saying he was like he remembered the first time he met someone white as a person, but he goes, they always seemed like those are just the people on TV. Yeah. So he's like, everyone on TV is white, and everyone I know is black. Yeah. And so he was like, I think he said he was like 13 before he like had a friend that was white. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. But like, to remember that, because when I was a kid, there weren't black people on TV.
Yeah.
I think the Cosby's was happening. Sorry, man. I'm sorry. But
I don't know what it was, but I never liked the Cosby Show as a kid. Yeah. So when all this shit came out, I was like, yeah, he did it. Fuck that guy. Like I didn't even have to think about it. I've never liked Bill Cosby.
But that's like there is no frame of reference. Like I was just like,
no, I understand. I remember my first day at kindergarten. I was only black kid in the class, and I remember kids tugging on my face and pointing at me and asking the teacher, "What's wrong with him?"
Oh my God.
Still scarred by that to this day. And it's just like, because for me, like, I've been around white people since I was a baby. Like, my parents have friends of all different races and everything. So to be 5 and to get to class, and I'm just like, okay, so I was prepared to know other people. Why the fuck are these kids stupid? You know, like,
yeah.
that's. Like,
so you're already dealing with.
Yeah. And I was just like, what? So I'm going to have to deal with this for a whole year? Yeah, Mom, I don't want to go back. I'm good. You know, so it was rough.
Well, I think that's what it is. Those like, but think about those kids now. Okay, so they fucked up when they were 5, but now maybe they're 20 and they're like, oh, there's a black kid in my class when I was in kindergarten, so I kind of whatever.
Right. But they don't know how I felt about that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like they don't see like it sucks just the way it is with women. Like every first girlfriend you have is like, no, you can't treat people this way, or no, you can't do this. And it's the same way, like, the first group of friends you have that aren't of your race,
right?
There's a learning curve.
There is a learning curve.
And the older you get when that happens, the shittier that is and the less you want to deal with it. So like people that have grown up in a rural America and they're 75 and they've never had a black friend, they just have they're so ignorant, they have no understanding, and they're so old to teach.
Right.
Versus like someone that grew up and they're like, well, I had a black friend and I touched his face in kindergarten. Like, okay, now maybe, but like you have the burden then of educating white people.
And it gets annoying a lot because I know I've been in certain places where I'm just kind of like I don't feel like educating somebody on what I have to deal with every day. Like it gets exhausting to have to deal with it and then also educate at the same time. Like I already have a job. Like I don't and I don't get paid well for that shit. So it's just like I'm about to educate white people for free. Nigga, y'all better pay me $30 an hour. Like, I'm not Oprah.
I mean,
but that's where I think the problems intersect, and I think that's where growth can happen when those conversations do happen. So I do have them every now and then, but just for my mental health and brain space, I can't be doing that shit every day.
Well, it's exhausting.
Oh, it's totally exhausting. It's almost more exhausting than experiencing the things that happen.
It is. I was talking to someone about that. I had kind of the same thing with like dudes sending me shitty messages.
I saw the screenshots.
It was so much. And that's why I was like, I'll just make a post and maybe it'll stop. Of course it didn't stop.
No.
Such a problem. No. Like I'm just like, I want to take a screenshot of that post and just send it to people.
How many messages did you get from like, man, yeah, dudes are crazy, right?
Oh my God, it's the worst.
Yeah.
They're like, they don't understand. I'm not being creepy right fucking now. I'm
right.
Like, fuck.
Guys are so predictable. Whenever you posted that, I was like, she just got 6 messages where a guy screenshotted what she posted on Facebook and be like, yeah, dudes are the worst, right? So, hey, when do you want to hang out? Like, all right, dude, she just said this is what I don't want in my inbox.
Do you have that same problem with white people, though?
Oh, all the time.
And they're like, well, I'm the cool white friend. Yeah, like, I'm the one that understands.
I actually had to stop telling this joke about a white guy approaching me about telling me how many times he's seen Black Panther and how excited he was because the dude was at all open mics I was trying to tell the joke about. And I was just like, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I'm just like, because the dude, I'm not going to say his name.
He means well.
He means well because I've met him before. He ain't racist. He's just corny. And he doesn't know black people. And so he's like, whenever he's around my group, you know the group of black people I'm with. Yeah. Whenever he's around my group, it's like his face turns red and he's almost dancing while he's talking because he's just like overly excited. You know what I'm saying?
He's like a puppy.
Yeah, it's just like every time he talks to us, he's like, hey guys, hey, look at this black thing that I saw on the internet. And I'm just like, all right, like stop. Like I like you, stop. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I just stopped telling the joke because I don't want people to be like, hey, who said that? And then be like, that guy. Yeah, so I stopped telling the joke because I didn't want to hurt his feelings at open mics. But it's just like, it's like, it's so extreme. It's just like, I'm almost like, dude, I'd rather you be racist. You wouldn't be as annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you always have to deal with something.
Yeah. But yeah, like literally just like that, I think SNL did a sketch like a couple weeks ago with the dude who played Black Panther. where some white kids ran up to him outside the movie theater. Like, that's literally what's happened to me like 12 times in real life.
Super fun.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad he enjoyed the movie.
this is a podcast about love. I feel like we talked about loving family.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about relations. I know. I love hanging out with you. It's always fun. What we end this podcast with every time, because we're kind of out of time-ish, but I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
We covered a lot of stuff in this short amount of time.
Something I always kind of like to ask at the end is like, when you first get into a relationship with someone or when you start to date someone, do you have a specific fear or something that you're kind of like afraid of?
Oh, yeah, I have a lot. What if their family hates me?
Okay.
What if they don't think I'm funny?
Okay, that's a dumb fear because you're funny.
No. Here's the thing. I'm funny to you because all comedians are fucked up. And we all have this sense of like, I've been at shows where a comedian will say this really just like, what I think is a great, masterful joke. And the audience will just be like, no, we're not accepting that. And I'm in the back crying, laughing. Because I'm a comedian and I know what went into saying that. But there's just, you know me, there's just, I'm never scared to shy away from a controversial topic. And I say a lot of very controversial things, but I feel like I make most of them funny. Most of them, probably not all of them. And I know just most women would probably be like, yeah, I'm not trying to deal with that on a regular basis. Like everything, because I have this bad thing where I turn everything into a joke. It's like my defense mechanism.
Pretty much the comedy.
Yeah, that's us. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. That's like my biggest fear is when getting that whole like, when women say to comedians, oh, everything's a joke to you. You know, that's one of my biggest fears.
Honestly, so like I've been in relationships with men though, and it's so important to me for them to have a sense of humor because most fights are ridiculous. Oh. And if you have the self-awareness to realize in the middle of the fight that it's a dumb fight, it can go better. And
the thing is, dudes are so fragile.
I'm so glad you said it, not me.
And that's it's just like with white people. It's just like when you're faced with racism, it makes you feel uncomfortable because you've never had to deal with it before.
Right.
Because a lot of you guys are taught when you're kids, like, don't talk about racism, don't talk about black people, nothing. Just stay away from it like it's not a thing. And so like with men, we don't even get that. We just don't even get taught that we have privilege, and we don't even get taught that we're basically just by our gender that we get opportunities and we're seen, we're taken serious, we're all these kind of things from the get-go. We're never taught that until a woman brings it up to your face that you're a man and you get this and this and that, and then it just sounds like, oh, you're just whining and complaining. And so for like most men, like I know a lot of dudes that just like that'll say like I couldn't be with a girl that's funnier than me. That's not a comedian. So it's just like, how are you even going, like how would a female comedian like date a regular dude? He's gonna be feeling like
the bane of my existence.
Yeah, like he's gonna be feeling insecure every time you say something that kills at like a party and everybody's laughing. Andrea's so funny, and then the dude's like, I'm funny too, and he's probably not actually that funny. For some reason, every male thinks they're funny. I don't know why. It's
because.
Explain to me why every guy thinks they're funny. I need to know. It's
because women laugh at men's jokes because they want their approval.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So women will laugh. We will laugh because we recognize intent, even if we don't necessarily think a joke is funny.
Okay.
Because we want this person to like us, and we're taught so much that our value as women is by you liking us.
Wow.
So women, from an early age, we understand that our value is only reflected as a value that a man gives
crazy.
us. It's really fucked up.
See there, man. See, you can listen to things you've never heard before and not get defensive.
Yeah.
It's okay. Because I guarantee all of that is true, what she just said. So
it's a lot.
Wow.
I understood that when I was 5 years old, I decided I didn't want to be a girl, and I started dressing like a boy. And I started getting in fist fights with boys on the playground.
Badass.
Because I was just like, no, I'm not putting up with any of this. I'm smarter. Like, I was just like, because boys would be like, I'm smarter than you. And I was like the only person in my grade in special classes for like smart kids. Oh. And all these boys would like try to put me down. They're like, I'm smarter than you.
They were intimidated by you.
Yeah. And I was just like, nope, we're going to fist fights.
That's
like,
crazy.
I was just getting,
Holy
but then
shit.
Sexism worked in my favor because I would never get in trouble because I was a girl.
No.
So they would always get in trouble.
I charge things to the race card all the time. Charge it to the sexism card.
So you're afraid of not being funny. You're afraid of other person's parents not liking you.
Yeah, because I'm a comedian. Who wants their daughter to marry a comedian? Like, that's not... That's never been a thing. Like nobody wants their, like especially one that doesn't have any money. So where do you perform? I perform at this garage every Saturday. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want you marrying my daughter, nigga. Get
Shameless plug for Victor Martinez.
Garage mic, High Tonight show every Saturday, 9:30. 1717
Can anyone
Southwestern.
go? Is it a mic again?
We do a live show with a musical guest. My cousin's a musical guest tonight. Nepotism, nigga. And then the garage mic is afterwards.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that way we can have an audience, and then then the mic starts. And then you get to sign up early for the mic if you come to the show.
That's dope.
We need more women there. It's not the most women friendly place because
it's in a garage behind a food for less.
Yeah, I get that.
The first time I went, I thought I was going to be murdered.
Yeah, I get scared every night when I'm there. So but it's fun as hell.
But I will say, any other female comics that want to go, they're a good group of dudes. They're all very safe. Victor is a good dude, so it's a safe place to be as a woman. I've never felt uncomfortable there. So yeah, the first time I went, I was like, "Are these dudes going to be cool?" And then everyone was so cool and like walked me to my car and made sure I was safe, and it was very safe.
It's a good time.
It was very
good time. Yeah. So yeah. So that was my two was family. Oh, and then it's just like I'm like scared to have children with people.
Why?
Because my parents, I hate my parents because they have such a good marriage. They've been together.
No one has ever. I hate my parents because they have such a good marriage. Like that. What?
Like my mom dropped the whole like I was married at your age thing like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, Mom, I hate you. Like my mom was 22, and
you feel like it's an expectation you can't live up to.
Like my dad was 23, my mom was 22. They met in some college program randomly and knew they wanted to marry each other after like a week, and then it's just the whole like it's bullshit. And like they dated for a while, they got married, they were married for 6 years before they even had me. So they wasn't like, oh, she's pregnant, we need to get married. Like they really like legit
loved each other,
planned to have me and my sister, and then like live in their dream home in Mississippi. I'm like, fuck them, okay? Like it's not fair. Like they were married. I think they've been married since long time. They're just amazing. My parents are amazing people. Like they're perfect almost. Like they're just amazing. And they've been married for so long, and I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't. I know I can't. And
you don't think you could do it?
And it's just like, why even try?
Is that a life that you want? Is marriage?
No, I don't. But I feel like I should have. I feel like I have to for some reason. Like
you don't have to.
I know, and that's what I tell them, but they don't get it. And it's just like I think I want to get married. I think I want to have kids. But then like the next day, I'm like, I don't want any of that. I don't think I do. But I
think it's difficult to live in our society without feeling that pressure.
Yeah, and because I mean they have a great marriage, and like they still are like legit friends and like being around each other and have fun.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
What
it almost freaks me out. I want to be like, all right, so what's going on when I'm not here?
What kind of Kool-Aid did you drink?
Yeah, but my sister still lives at home, and my sister's like, no, like they legit like are in love like that, and it's crazy because most people is just like, after a while, you just get tired of the person and it doesn't work out, and that's what most people, that's what happens. What's the divorce rate in America? Like over 50%?
Yeah.
60? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's just like,
count how many second marriages.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Side piece marriages too.
Wow. So yeah, my parents beat the odds and are with their soulmates, and I'm just like, I don't see that happening to me. So that's another thing. I'm just scared to not be my parents. Like if I got married and got a divorce, I would feel so ashamed because my parents didn't.
There's no shame in that though. 60% of everyone else is doing it. I feel like it's fine.
I don't know. So yeah, my parents scare me because they're just amazing people.
Well, you're also 22.
23.
So you're 20. I'm so sorry. You're 23.
Yeah, I'm an old man.
He's so old, guys.
I feel like I'm 50.
You're such an old man.
I feel like
but
I'm
you're
50.
also at a place in your life where you are focusing on external goals and career goals.
Exactly.
And figuring out who you are. And you don't have to don't even worry about it for at least 5 more years.
No, that's the thing. I'm not worrying about it, but it's definitely one of those things in the back of my head. Like, you're going to end up alone. Like, just stop. So.
Do you want to be alone? Do you like being alone?
I do like being alone, but I'm scared to be alone.
Why?
It's weird. It's a weird, complex thing.
I understand that. Because I was thinking the other day, and I was like thinking about, I'm having when people come to my apartment, it's like one person at a time. And because I live in South Pasadena, not a lot of people come.
Wow, you live all the way out there?
I live so far away from everyone. So I usually just come to Hollywood or like I've gone to Paulavi's house a bunch of times because she lives downtown. It's on the way to stuff. She's never seen my apartment. We are best friends. She's never seen my apartment.
Wow.
Because it's not convenient for anyone. And so like my home is like this place that I've created that is so solitary.
That's your space, yeah.
It's my space. Today, for the first time, I'm having two people that I'm not related to there at the same time.
Whoa.
And I was like, I gotta clean. I have to clean the toilet. I have to like, it's like, I was like, oh, people in my space. And I was like, if I dated someone, they would be in my space all the time.
Like,
I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I like being by myself.
And that's another thing. Like, I don't know if I could have somebody in my face like all the time. It'd have to be somebody that's like cool with like, all right, Niles is just neat. Cause I'm like a really creative person and I just like,
I'm
going
that way
away
too.
And like writing. And it just had to be, all right, Niles just doesn't want to contact anyone today. He just wants to write stuff.
Well, I would, for one of my most serious relationships, I had a studio where I would leave our apartment and I'd go to my studio and I would paint. I would paint for an entire day.
Wow.
And I'd just be like, I'm painting today.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Like whatever you want to do.
Some people don't like that.
No, it did
A
not.
lot of people like getting texted all through the day.
Yeah, and I'm not like that. Like this, I'm supposed to go on a date with this dude. He texted me like 5 times, and I'm like, I don't even know you yet. Like, why are we talking?
Wow.
Like, he like texted me. I was like, hey, I'm painting right now. Sorry, I gotta work. And then he just like kept texting me, and I'm not already like, I don't know if I want to hang out with this.
That's hilarious. But yeah, that's how I am. So I don't know, but I don't want to end up alone though. Like I don't know. It's weird. Is that selfish?
I think that you just have to. I think the challenge with all artists is finding someone that either
understands it
or is also an artist.
And that's the thing. And I think I would love to, I guess, be with somebody that's also an artist, like you said.
Or a creative person.
Yeah,
or
creative
someone
person.
that has a similar mindset of like, I like people, but I can also... Something that I described, I was talking with Ramon Rivas about this, and I've had this with other relationships of like, we hang out, but we're not talking. We're just working on stuff.
Okay.
But it's like a work hangout. So like it's like how cats hang out.
Yeah.
Like your cat wants to be near you in the room with you. He does not want to be on top of you. Like those are the hangouts that I'm a huge fan of. I'm like, look, we're just chilling.
That's cool.
I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing.
Right.
But there's people around.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just I'm scared of all that.
You could get a pet.
I do. I'm getting a new apartment like later this summer. And I do want to get a cat for the first time. I'm excited about that. I want to get a cat. I think that'll be good for me.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Catman Niles.
Catman. Like if I end up being an old nigga with all the cats, like I blame this podcast for making me unpack all these things that I'm scared of right now.
I love you so much, Niles. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, y'all niggas better follow me. On Twitter is @Niles100. On Instagram, I'm @Niles310.
Wait, is it 100 like the numbers?
Yeah, the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Niles100 on Twitter, Niles310 on Instagram, because I am the CEO of a YouTube channel called Channel 310. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. Go check that out. We got like 5 shows and a podcast, so it's fun. Go check that out.
Is that you good?
Yeah.
Oh man, you should check it out. I got to do one of your skits.
You
one
did.
day.
You were amazing. I might like. I'm doing another sketch next month. I want you to be in it. So
Okay, well, yeah, we'll talk about that off air.
cool.
Hey guys, you can, if you like this podcast, go ahead and rate and subscribe on iTunes. You can also follow updates on this podcast @Andrea Loves Everybody on Instagram, @Andrea Loves Pod on Twitter, and you can email me @AndreaLovesEverybody@gmail.com if you want to pitch a show idea, if you want to send me a cute love story, pictures of kittens, whatever. I love, and thank you guys so much for listening.